What's going on, guys? If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If this is your first time on my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like woodworking and wood turning content. There will be a new video every week. For this video, I am making a rectangular wood and epoxy lamp. So I started by cutting an oak board and then marking out locations on a piece of plywood to start making the mold. And I just basically eyeballed the length because I didn't exactly have a template I was going off of. I then just nailed all the pieces together and put tape on the inside to help the epoxy release from the mold a lot easier. For this project, I'm using a 2-part epoxy from Total Boat. I'm doing it by weight, and by weight it is 100 to 83, whereas by volume it's 1 part to 1 part. I'm using black diamond mica dyes for this. I used a really cool turquoise blue for the majority of the color, and for the rest I used a pearl, which will give it a really cool effect when the light comes through. Obviously, once I poured it in, I had not estimated the amount of resin I needed. So for this, I just stuck a block of wood in the back. And after 24 hours, everything was dried. And just took a hammer to hammer it out, and that was mostly just because I use nails to hold the mold together, and it released fairly easily. So I chopped off the top block that I used to span the resin, and then I planed it down and squared up the edges. So here's the result from that. And after this, I went on to sanding, and I started with 150 grit. I sanded every surface to try to get this project as smooth as possible. So here I'm gonna be making a base for it since it's pretty thin. Then I took a piece of that same oak board and cut it to length and planed it down. Apparently I did not measure my width correctly, so I came back and re-penciled in those lines. Then I came back and re-penciled in the correct measurement. I use a table saw to cut this slot out, and this works really well since it doesn't go all the way through. And again, I didn't get it perfect, so I just went back with the table saw and widened it a little bit. That it fit perfectly. To cut out a spot for the battery pack and the switch, I used a router, and it's pretty hard to not go all the way through and cut this deeply on a router, which I hadn't realized. I ran into some issues, obviously, when I came in for the second pass. When it ended up kicking out and cracking the wood. cord will go through, and that will be the hole that the lights will come through and go into the lamp. I first drilled a pilot hole and then came back with a bigger drill, and I do this just so that I know I'm getting it straight up and down, and it's a lot easier to have kind of a original guide so that you don't have to worry about going in with a thicker bit. I ended up drilling 2 holes so that I could fit all the lighting inside. And then I used a little Dremel tool to create that part where the cord will go from the battery pack to through the hole and to the lamp. Obviously I was having a little bit of trouble with this, so I ended up just using a chisel and chiseling them all the way. After this, I took some 60-second super glue and glued everything in place. I tried to fix the crack with the super glue, but it didn't end up working. So I took some epoxy resin and secured the lamp to the base, and I also put some in the crack, which did a much better job of holding everything together. Clamps, lamp to the base, and clamp the crack together to hold it and give the epoxy time to cure. After 24 hours, everything was set, and I removed the clamps. And it works. So I went ahead and sanded it down, just sanded all the epoxy, because that'll be pretty obvious on the wood if I don't. And did a final test. And I think it turned out pretty good. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and it helps my channel out. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe. Alright, see you next week.